In this video, I'll touch on gods and angels of death from different religions and folklore. I'm not going to waste your time, so let's get right into it. Abaddon, a destroying angel from the book of Revelation. The Hebrew term Abaddon, meaning destruction or doom, and the Greek equivalent Apollyon, translates to destroyer. Abaddon appears in the Bible as both a place of destruction and an angel of the abyss. In the Hebrew Bible, Abaddon is used with reference to a bottomless pit, often appearing alongside the resting place of dead people. Looking to Christianity, in Revelation 9:11, Abaddon is described as the angel of the abyss, and as the king of the plague of locusts, resembling horses with crowned human faces, women's hair, lion's teeth, wings, iron breastplates, and a tail with a scorpion stinger that torments for 5 months anyone who does not have the seal of God on their foreheads. The symbolism of Revelation 9:11 leaves the identity of Abaddon open to interpretation. Protestant commentator Matthew Henry believed Abaddon to be the Antichrist, whereas Jameson Fawcett Brown and Henry Hampton Halley identified the angel as Satan. Moving to the next angel of death, Azrael. Relative to similar concepts of such beings, Azrael holds the role as God's angel of death. He is responsible for transporting the souls of the deceased after their death. Both in Islam and in Judaism, he is said to hold a scroll concerning the fates of mortals, recording and erasing their names at their birth and death. Respectively, in Islam, Azrael is one of the 4 major archangels. He is responsible for taking the souls of the deceased away from the body. Azrael does not act independently, but is only informed by God when it is time to take up a soul. Destroying angel. In the Hebrew Bible, the destroying angel is an entity sent out by God on several occasions to kill the enemies of the Hebrews. In Samuel 24:15-16, the destroying angel kills the inhabitants of Jerusalem. In Chronicles 21:15, the same angel of the Lord is seen by David to stand between the earth and the heaven, with a drawn sword in his hand, stretched out against Hebrews' enemies. Later in Kings 19:35, the angel kills 185,000 soldiers. Duma, angel of silence and of the stillness of death. Duma is an angel mentioned in Islamic literature as an angel who has the authority over the wicked dead. Duma is a popular figure in Yiddish folklore. I.B. Singer's Short Friday, a collection of stories, mentions Duma as thousand-eyed angel of death, armed with a fiery rod or flaming sword. Duma is the Aramaic word for silence. Duma is also the tutelary angel of Egypt, prince of hell, and angel of vindication. The Zohar speaks of him as having tens of thousands of angels of destruction under him, and as being chief of demons. Gabriel, angel of death over kings. Gabriel is described as the guardian angel of Israel, defending its people against the angels of the other nations. Gabriel is also translated as strength of God. In some languages, Islam regards Gabriel as an archangel sent by God to various prophets, including Muhammad. The first 5 verses of the Al-Alaq, the 96th chapter of the Quran, is believed by Muslims to have been the first verses revealed by Gabriel to Muhammad. The trope of Gabriel blowing a trumpet blast to indicate the Lord's return to earth is especially familiar in spirituals. However, though the Bible mentions a trumpet blast preceding the resurrection of the dead, it never specifies Gabriel as the trumpeter. Michael, the good angel of death. Michael, also called Saint Michael the Archangel, is an archangel in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The earliest surviving mentions of his name are in 3rd and 2nd century BC Jewish works, often but not always apocalyptic, where he is the chief of angels and archangels and responsible for the care of Israel. The earliest surviving mention of Michael is a 3rd century BC Jewish apocalypse, the Book of Enoch. This lists him as one of the 7 archangels who, according to a slightly later work, the Book of Tobit, stand ready and enter before the glory of the Lord. Michael is mentioned explicitly in Revelations 12:7-12, where he does battle with Satan and casts him out of heaven, so that he no longer has access to God as accuser, his former role in the Old Testament. Mot, a god of death from the Hebraic book of Habakkuk. Mot is a personification of death. The word belongs to a set of conjugates, meaning death. Mot was the ancient Canaanite god of death in the underworld. He was worshipped by the people of Ugarit and by the Phoenicians. The main source of information about his role in Canaanite mythology comes from the text discovered at Ugarit, but he is also mentioned in the surviving fragments of Philo-Biblos, Greek translation of the various books of the Old Testament. I wanted to talk about Psychopomp first because it ties into the next angels. Psychopomp, from the Greek word psychopompus, literally means the guide of souls. There are creatures, spirits, angels, demons, or deities in many religions whose responsibility is to escort newly deceased souls from the earth to the afterlife. Their role is to not judge the deceased, but simply guide them. Appearing frequently on funeral art, psychopomps have been depicted at different times and in different cultures as anthropomorphic entities. Horses, deer, dogs, whippoorwills, ravens, crows, vultures, owls, sparrows, and cuckoos. Samael, an important archangel in Talmudic and post-Talmudic lore. Samael, translating to the venom or poison of God. He is an archangel in Talmudic and post-Talmudic lore, a figure who is the accuser or adversary, seducer, and destroyer. Although many of his functions resemble the Christian notion of Satan, to the point of being sometimes identified as a fallen angel, he is not necessarily evil, since his functions are also regarded as resulting in good, such as destroying sinners. One of Samael's greatest roles in Jewish lore is that of the main angel of death and the head of Satan's. Although he condones the sins of man, he remains one of God's servants. He appears frequently in the story of the Garden of Eden and engineered the fall of Adam and Eve with a snake in writings during the Second Temple period. However, the serpent is not a form of Samael, but a beast he rode like a camel. In a single account, he is also believed to be the father of Cain, as well as the partner of Lilith. Santa Muerte, a sacred figure venerated primarily in Mexico, otherwise known as Our Lady of Holy Death, is a cult image, female deity, and a personification of death. She is associated with healing, protection, and safe delivery to the afterlife by her devotees. Her following has become increasingly prominent since the turn of the 21st century. Originally appearing as a male figure, Santa Muerte now generally appears as a skeletal female figure, clad in a long robe and holding one or more objects, usually a scythe and a globe. Her robe can be of any color, as more specific images of the figure vary widely from devotee to devotee, and according to the rite being performed or the petition being made. The number of believers is somewhere around 10 to 20 million. Shinigami, god or spirit of death in Japanese mythology. Shinigami translates to death god. They are gods or supernatural spirits that invite humans towards death in certain aspects of Japanese religion and culture. Shinigami have been described as monsters, helpers, and creatures of darkness. Shinigami are used for tales and religions in Japanese culture. It is a demon that makes humans want to die. It is said that upon being possessed by it, in a shock, one should suddenly want to die by self-no-live. So it is sometimes explained to be a Shinigami. Oni, such as the ox head and horse face, are also considered a type of Shinigami. There are also interpretations that the word Shinigami is an expression for the fleetingness of life. Sariel, an angel of death in Mandarism. Not much is written about Sariel. Sariel is the angel of death. Sariel features prominently in Book 1 of the Left Ginza as an angel who announces the message of death to Adam and Seth. Yama, Lord of Death in early Hinduism. Yama is a deity of death in the underworld who predominantly features in Hindu and Buddhist mythology. Belonging to an early stratum of Hindu deities, in Sanskrit, his name can be interpreted to mean twin. Yama is a wrathful god, or the enlightened protector of Buddhism, that is considered worldly, said to judge the dead and preside over the nakras, meaning hell or purgatory, and the cycle of rebirth. Yama takes those who have mistreated elders, holy spirits, or their parents when they die. Yama is also considered a Shinigami. Alright, those were the gods and angels of death that I decided to talk about in this video. I definitely mispronounced some things, so I'm sorry about that. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really appreciate you for watching.